Hey, what's going on, family? This is Andy Henriquez here. And of course, I want to welcome you to the Thursday night show for your life motivational live stream. This is where you come each and every week to get that midweek pick me up. And so listen, I know this, you got a lot of things going on. And so you got to have that place that you can go that allows somebody to really just pour into you and share some things with you. And I've got a message for you tonight. Listen, I'm going to share with you the one thing that you need to adjust, the one thing that you need to shift to make sure that this is, in fact, your best year ever. Now, here's the thing I know. Here's what happens to so many of us. We get excited at the beginning of the year. We start talking about all the things that we want to do. Some people are talking about losing weight. Some people are talking about making more income. Some people are talking about becoming debt-free. Some people are talking about getting in their optimal shape. Some people are talking about getting married and having fulfilling relationships. And unfortunately, even though people have all of these big, lofty dreams and goals that they set out to accomplish, unfortunately, what happens to most people is they somehow accomplish just about within a certain range of what they did in the previous year. And so if you want that to shift, if you want that to change, I'm about to let you in on the secret, because there is something that you need to adjust, something that you need to shift to make sure that this is, in fact, your best year ever. So do me a quick favor, as you're jumping on right now, go ahead and put in your city and your state in the comment section so I can go ahead and say hi to you real quick. Hey, James Perkins, what's going on, my man? Long time no see. Hope you're doing fantastic. Good to see from you. Hey, as you're tuning in, put in your city and your state so I could go ahead and give you a quick shout out as you're joining in. And listen, this is a special message tonight. So if you know somebody that really wants to go to the next level, somebody that you know that wants to create a shift, you want to share this message. Once again, I'm going to be sharing the one thing that is going to determine your entire year. Do you hear me? This one thing, like this message that you're going to hear right now, may make a difference between you accomplishing your goals this year, you getting to the next level, you creating multiple six figures in your business, getting to seven figures, losing the weight, becoming debt-free, getting the fulfilling relationship. Like this one thing could, in fact, change everything for you. So once again, we've got North Carolina in the house. We've got Utah in the house. Good to see you guys. Super excited. I see you guys tuning in. And so once again, I'm going to be sharing the one thing that will determine your entire year. If you said to me right now, Andy, what's the one thing that I could do differently this year that is going to create the ultimate difference in my life? What is the one thing? If you just said, Andy, shift one thing. If you told me I had to just change one thing in my life, what's the one thing that I would have to change to be able to increase my finances, to have more fulfilling relationships, to get out of debt, to accomplish my goals, to get to the next level, to do the things that I set out to do every single year? And unfortunately, it doesn't seem to happen. What's the one thing? And I'm telling you right now, you are going to be blown away when I tell you what that thing is. Because here's the thing, a lot of times when we're trying to get to the next level in our lives, we want things to be complicated. We want things to be extremely complicated. We're looking for complexity. But I tell you, a lot of times getting to the next level in your life and producing the results is actually around something very simple that you need to execute on. And I'm going to share that one thing with you. Now, here's the thing, and I want you to get this because this is really important. I'm going to share this quick story with you real quick because it's going to give you a very quick framework. And so there's a gentleman who wrote the book, and the gentleman who wrote the book, his name is Wes Moore. And the title of the book that he wrote is called The Other Wes Moore. And so for those of you, some of you may be familiar with the book. Some of you are not familiar with the book. If you haven't read the book, it's okay. Guess what? I haven't read the book either. I happen to have seen the author being interviewed by Oprah Winfrey. But there's something very powerful that I took from that interview. And I'm telling you, if you can get this fundamental principle, it is going to create massive change and massive shift in your life this year. And so as you're tuning in right now, do me a quick favor, put in your city and your state. I want to see your comments in the comments below. And as we're going through this message, I'm telling you, you're going to want to hit the share button because I'm going to be dropping some things that's going to create a major shift, a major change in your life. So once again, we got North Carolina, we got Utah, we got New York in the house. I thank all of you for tuning in. So what I want to share with you once again is the one thing, listen carefully, the one thing that will absolutely determine your entire year this year. If you adjust this one thing, everything changes. Your finances change, your relationship change, your income changes, I mean, so many things that you've been setting out to do are going to create a drastic shift. And I'm not just talking about the easy things. I'm talking about the things that you have been trying to work on every single year. You know, those things that you've been frustrated because you're not quite getting the results that you want. So let's get back to this book. So I had an opportunity to watch this interview. The interview was between Wes Moore and Oprah Winfrey. Wes Moore is the author of the book, and the book title is called The Other Wes Moore. Now, it's okay if you didn't read the book. I'm going to fill you in on this. Now, here's what the book is about. The author of the book, his name is Wes Moore, and he happened to grow up in a neighborhood, and there was somebody who basically had the exact same identical name as him that lived fairly close to him and was about the same age range as him and came out of the same neighborhood as them. Now, you might say, well, Andy, what's the significance of that? All right, this guy who wrote the book, there happens to be somebody else in his nearby neighborhood that had the same name as him. But here's the powerful thing about the book. The book sort of shows what's happening in both of their lives. And so the author, Wes Moore, the one who wrote the book called The Other Wes Moore, that Wes Moore had an amazing life, extremely successful, and continues to be a massive success. This guy went on to be a Rhodes Scholar. This guy made multiple visits to the White House. This guy ended up being a successful author. This guy ended up being a powerful, successful leader and businessman. This guy now is a best-selling author as well as a phenomenal speaker. Now, the other Wes Moore, who grew up in a neighborhood, in the same neighborhood as him, just a couple of blocks away, who had the same name as him, is serving a lifetime prison sentence. And so the book is really showing how can two people come out of pretty much one environment and have entirely different lives. So one of them is serving a lifetime prison sentence. You hear me? A lifetime prison sentence. And the other one has gone to the White House. The other one has received awards. The other one is a successful businessman. The other one is a best-selling author. The other one is a big-time speaker. And you're saying, how can two people come out of the same environment and have entirely different lives? Now, this was the aha moment for me. This was the epiphany for me, and this is what I want you to get. And I'm going to break this thing down for you, and I promise you, if you get this, everything changes for you this year. If you get this, I'm telling you, if you apply this, if you actually apply this one thing in your life, and I mean if you really truly get this, don't just get it here, but if you actually apply it and you really, really, really truly get it. Sometimes people say, oh, I get it, I get it. No, 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 no. When you say, Andy, I get something, that means that you're actually applying it to your life and you're actually producing the results. Do you hear me? So there's a difference between getting it here, and there's another difference between you applying it to your life and actually producing the results. So I'm watching this interview that's taking place between Wes Moore and Oprah Winfrey, and he's talking about the book, and he's talking about how he grew up in this neighborhood, and there's a guy who lived just a couple blocks away that had the same name as him, and that guy is serving a lifetime prison sentence. But for him, he was a Rhodes Scholar. He's visited the White House. He's a leader. He's a businessman. He's a best-selling author, and now he's an amazing speaker, and he's doing some extraordinary things. How can two people out of the same environment have entirely two different results? And I'm telling you, he said something during that interview that I believe that many people miss, but for me, it was the most powerful thing that he shared. And here's what he said. He said that when he was in the process of writing the book, and he wanted to reach out and actually speak to the other Wes Moore. He wanted to speak to the other guy. So he actually went to the prison where the other Wes Moore is serving a lifetime prison sentence. And he asked him a very powerful question. So I want you to picture this for a moment. Both Wes Moores are sitting across from each other. One Wes Moore, who came out of the same environment, is a best-selling author. He has visited the White House on multiple occasions. He's a Rhodes Scholar. He's a successful businessman. He has done some extraordinary things in his life, and he's sitting directly across from the other Wes Moore who's serving a lifetime prison sentence. And Wes Moore, the author, Wes Moore, the successful businessman, Wes Moore asked the Wes Moore who's serving the prison sentence a powerful question. And I'm telling you, the answer to that question is loaded with one of the most powerful gems that you can apply to your life. And here's what he said. He looked at the other Wes Moore and he said, man, he said, what do you think created the difference between our lives. I mean, we grew up just a couple blocks from one another. We're very close to the same age. We came out of the same depleted, difficult area. You, on one hand, are serving a lifetime prison sentence. I have been very blessed to become a Rhodes Scholar, to travel around the world, to be a best-selling author, and so forth. And he looked the other Westmore directly in the eyes, and he said to him, "What do you think is the difference between me and you?" And he says, "Can we still say that we are a product of our environment?" Because I don't know if we could really say we're a product of our environment, because my life went one direction and your life went an entirely different direction. And this was the answer that the other Westmore said to him from prison, that is an absolute game changer that I'm going to break down for you, that I believe is going to create the absolute difference for you this year. And here's what he said. He looked him dead in the eye and he says, "You know what? Now that I think about it, I don't really believe that we are a product of our environment." He said that when I look at my life and I'm serving a lifetime prison sentence, and I look at your life and you've had all this success, you're an author, you've been to the White House, you've made these amazing things. He said, "Here's what I believe in my life." He says, "Here's what I believe determines the outcome of somebody's life." He says, "I don't believe we're a product of our environment, because you can take two people out of the same environment and get two entirely different outcomes." He said, "This is what I now believe." And this was the most profound thing that he said in the interview. "I believe." And here's what he said. He said, "I believe that we are a product of our expectations." Ooh, woo! I don't know if you understand what I'm about to break down for you right now, because that might go over your head. You might just think that that is so simple. You might just dismiss it, say, "Andy, what's so profound about that?" I'm going to break this thing down for you right now. Listen carefully. He said, "I don't believe that we are a product of our environment." He said this, "I believe that we are a product of our expectations." So here's what I want you to understand, that the difference between last year and the previous 3 years and the previous 5 years or the previous decade in your life and what is going to happen this year, the sole difference is going to be based off of what are your expectations for this year. And I need you to understand what I mean by expectations. I'm not talking about wishful thinking. I'm not talking about your New Year's resolutions. I'm not talking about your affirmations. I am talking about your expectations. What are you expecting out of this year? Now, here's the thing. I'm going to challenge you on this, because some of you are saying, "Andy, I'm expecting great things out of this year. I'm expecting to make more money. I'm expecting to lose weight. I'm expecting to get in a happy, fulfilling relationship. I'm expecting to become debt-free. I'm expecting to travel around the world." Now, here's where I'm going to challenge you on what you say that you expect out of this year. Here's what I've learned, and here's what I could tell you right now, and I think you'll agree with me on this. One of the ways that you can see what someone's expectations are is by examining their preparation. Now, let me break that down for you. If you ever recall, most of us, you even live in a condo, you're living in a house, you're living in an apartment, wherever you live, when you are expecting company and you know that you're going to have company coming over, what is one of the things that you begin to do? Most of us, if we're expecting company, guess what you start to do? You begin to prepare for your company, right? You start cleaning things. You start setting the table. You make sure you got something to offer them to drink. You make sure that you actually have food to offer them. You make sure that you actually have something. So one of the ways that we know that you're expecting company, matter of fact, I can come home and I could just see what's going on in my house, and I can know if my wife is expecting company, because I can tell, because she's making preparation for the company. Listen carefully. Don't let me lose you here. I'm about to break something down for you that's really, really powerful. Here's what I want you to get. When you are expecting more, you begin to make preparation. When you are expecting something in your life, you begin to make preparation for it. When you are expecting company in your life, you start cleaning up. You make sure you got something to drink. You make sure you got something to eat. As a matter of fact, during like Thanksgiving, if you come to my house, and you didn't even ask me a question, you can look around our condo and you will be able to tell how many people we're actually expecting, because you're going to see that we actually rented chairs, we rented tables. So you're going to be able to just simply look at my environment, look around in the condo and say, wow, they must be expecting 40 people, because as I look around, I see 40 different seats. Now, here's what I want you to understand. It's really, really hard for you to say, Andy, I'm expecting to take my business to the next level. Or for you to say, Andy, I'm expecting to have a happy, fulfilling relationship. Or Andy, I'm expecting to become debt-free. Or Andy, I'm expecting to go to the next level. If I can look at your life and I don't see any preparation being done for the thing that you say that you're expecting. Ooh, 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 ooh. I don't know if you're getting this right now. I'm telling you, if you begin to understand what I'm telling you right now, this is going to be the absolute game changer for you. Do me a favor right now. If you're getting some value for what I'm sharing with you, because I haven't even gotten started yet, go ahead and hit the share button, but go ahead and just put for me real quick, I'm with you. I'm with you. Put that in the comment section. I'm with you, because I want to make sure I'm not losing you right now. Here's what I want you to understand. When you are expecting something in your life, my daughter right now is 2 years old. And when my wife was pregnant and we were expecting my daughter, Ava, to be born, we began to make preparation. The room that used to be my office got converted into a baby's room. We began to childproof the house. We began to cover all the light sockets in the house. We began to anchor down the furniture. We began to buy a changing table. We actually also, we bought a changing station, right? We bought a crib. We bought a pack and play. We began to buy a monitor so that we can actually see inside the room. Like if you came to my house and we didn't even tell you that we were having a baby, you would be able to just look around at what was happening in our household, and based off of our preparation, you would be able to tell what we were expecting. Now, here's what I want you to understand. There are some things that you say that you want in your life. There are some things that you say that you want out of this year. There's some things that you say that you want to accomplish. But here's what the problem is. You clearly are not truly expecting those things, because when you look at your life, when you look at your environment, there is no evidence of the preparation being made. You say you want your business to grow, but there is no evidence that you are preparing for growth. You're not hiring anybody new into your business. You're not increasing your marketing. You're not making sure that you have the bandwidth to be able to fulfill your fulfillment with new customers and new clients. You're not making sure that you're upgrading your systems. You're not making sure that you have things in place so that you can increase your capacity for the thing that you say that you want. Like you're saying right now, Andy, this is the year I'm going to find that special someone. But there's no preparation being done. You're doing nothing. You're not getting out there more. You're not socializing more. You're not getting out places. You're not on a social networking site. You're not on a dating site and so forth. So when someone looks, there's no preparation of the thing that you say that you're expecting. And so I'm telling you right now, your preparation, write this down, your preparation will reveal what you are expecting. I hope that you get this right now. Your preparation, I can look at your preparation. You can look at what I am doing in my life and you can see what I'm preparing for. And what I want you to understand is this. Your preparation is a telltale sign of what you are expecting in your life. And so if you're expecting increase and you're not increasing your capacity to receive the thing that you want, then something is not congruent, and you wonder why so many of us continue to get the exact same results. And so if anyone examines your environment, you can examine my environment, I can examine your environment. If you examine anyone's environment, it is a clear sign of what they are expecting. You come over to somebody's house regularly, you can see the shift, you can see the changes being made, and you know, oh, you must be expecting some company, because I see you making provision. I see you making preparation for your company. I see you making preparation for the things that you're expecting. And so what I want you to understand is this, that first of all, one of the key things that you have to do this year is you've got to raise your expectations. You got to raise your expectations for your business. You got to raise the expectations on yourself. You got to raise the expectations in your relationship. You got to raise the expectations that you have on your health, on your spirituality. You got to raise your expectations. If you follow me on this, do me a favor right now, and in the comment section, just put hashtag raise, hashtag raise, hashtag raise. Like if you are following me right now and you're willing to raise your expectations so that you can get to the next level in your life, so that you can ultimately be able to up level and maybe perhaps double your income this upcoming year. Maybe perhaps finally lose that weight and actually keep it off for the first time. Maybe perhaps get in that happy, fulfilling relationship. If you're following me on that, do me a favor right now, put hashtag raise, hashtag raise, hashtag raise. That's just your way of letting me know that you're following me along. Because here's what I want you to know. You've got to raise your expectation. You know, it was not too long ago, it was probably like about 8 months ago, I got in a discussion with one of my friends, and we got into, I would say, a very a friendly argument, or I'll call it a friendly disagreement. And so here's what was happening. There was a major conference that was happening in Fort Lauderdale. And in that conference, there was some speakers coming in town. So Gary Vee was coming in town. Tony Robbins was coming in town. Robert from Shark Tank was coming in town. And so my friend sent me an email and said, hey, Andy, just to let you know, Tony Robbins, Gary Vee, and Robert are coming in town. I know you're always into personal development. If you are not speaking at an event, if you're not doing a training, if you're available, why don't you go to this event? And my friend sent me a Groupon link. And the Groupon link was a ticket to the event so that I could go to the event for, I think, like $45. And so I clicked on the Groupon and I saw it. And then I decided to go ahead and Google, and I went to the main website for the event. And then I found out that there were some VIP tickets. And those VIP tickets cost, I don't know, $500 or a little more, over $500. So then I end up buying the $500 ticket. And so my friend calls me back and says, hey, Andy, are you going to the event? I said, yeah. He said, awesome. Well, you know, the cool thing is, did you buy the Groupon ticket? It's only 40-some bucks. I said, no, actually, I went to the website and I bought a ticket for $500. He's like, what? He's like, dude, that doesn't make any sense. Like, you mean to tell me you could have gotten a ticket for 40-something dollars, and instead of buying the ticket for 40-something dollars, you decided to buy a ticket for $500? He's like, dude, we're going to be at the same event. Like, yeah, you might be sitting a little closer, but we're going to be at the exact same event listening to the same speakers. Now, my friend, you might say my friend was making a pretty valid point. But here's what I want you to understand. And this is where I want you to get, because this is a game changer. This will shift and create an absolute change in your life. This will be a game changer. You would never produce the same results again in your life. Everything would change. And here's the conversation that I had with my friend. And I want to pose the same question to you. If two people go to exact same event, and one person goes to this personal development event and they invested $49 to go to the event, and the other person goes to the exact same event and they invested $500 to go to the exact same event. One person paid $50. The other person paid $500. My question for you, when they prepare and they show up to that event, which of those two people is going to expect to get more out of that environment? Which of those two people is going to expect to walk away from that particular event with higher results and actually get the most out of that event? Well, I'm going to argue with you that the person who is going to expect the most out of the event is the person who's made the bigger investment. Because if you only spent $50, you're like, whatever. Hopefully I get something here. Hopefully it's good. Maybe it'll be good. Maybe it won't. If you invest $500, you're showing up to that environment saying, I paid $500. I need to get something out of here. Like, I need to justify why I gave these people my $500. I must get something out of this environment. And so what happens is oftentimes the person who paid more walks away with more from the event. Now my question for you is, why does that person get more from the event? Why? Is it simply just because they paid more? I'm going to argue with you that it's not only because they paid more, that the reason why they get more out of that environment is because of the fact they show up to that environment with higher expectations. Do you hear me? Ooh, woo! I don't know if you just understand what I just broke down for you. Do you understand that? It's not because that person paid $500 only and the other person paid $50. The reason why the person who made the higher investment oftentimes walks away with more is because they show up expecting more. And so what I want you to understand is this, that if you want more out of this year, you need to expect more. You need to raise your expectations. If you're with me right now, if this is making some sense for you, go ahead and hit the share button. Now, I'm going to break this thing down for you because I want you to get this. I want you to get this. I want you to get this. And yes, yes, yes. If you're getting this, do me a favor right now in the comment section, say yes, yes. If you're getting this, put yes, 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 if you're getting this. Now, I'm going to break down for you how you raise your expectations, because I've been telling you, raise your expectations. I first needed to break it down because I need you to know it wasn't just a sentence. It's not just a statement. I'm not just saying to you, oh, raise your expectations. I want to make sure that you clearly understand, right? I broke down that book, The Other Westmore. Two individuals, same neighborhood. One is serving a lifetime prison sentence. One is a best-selling author, successful businessman, leadership person. And in addition to that, is doing extraordinary things in their life. They're sitting across from each other. And one Westmore asked the other Westmore, what do you think is the difference between the both of us? You're serving a lifetime prison sentence. I'm a best-selling author. I'm a successful businessman. And he says to him, the difference is we came out of the same environment, but we had different expectations. I'm telling you right now, your expectations is going to determine this entire year. Your expectations is going to determine what your relationships look like, what your business looks like, what your income looks like. And if you want more, you're going to have to start off by doing this, raising your expectations. Now, you might be saying, well, Andy, I'm hearing you, but how do I raise my expectations? I'm going to break this down for you. One of the first ways that you can raise your expectations is to get around people with higher expectations than you. Listen, if you are accustomed to buying the $50 ticket to events and you start hanging around with people who only buy VIP tickets long enough, eventually what's going to end up happening is your mind is going to be expanded being around those people, and before you know it, you're going to get sick of sitting back in the nosebleed section with everybody else while the people that you're hanging around with are only in the VIP section. And all of a sudden now you're going to level up. You're going to raise your expectations of yourself. You're going to raise the expectations of what you're expecting out of things. And now you're going to start ending up and things are going to begin to shift. So one of the fastest ways for you to raise your expectations is to surround yourself with people with higher standards than you. And so if you want to raise your expectations, get around people who have higher standards than you do. Listen, my wife and I, we just came back from a business cruise. We traveled around the Caribbean. We went on a business cruise. This was a mastermind cruise. And I'm going to tell you right now, last year, I had a really great year in my business. My business increased by 124%. I'm very, very grateful, and I'm thankful to God at the blessings and the things that happened in my business this past year. But here's what's interesting. I was on that cruise, and there was this gentleman who popped up out of his seat, and he was asking a question. And when he was asking the question, he started off by saying this. He said, yeah, right now we're trying to grow our business. And then he said, right now, currently, our business is doing about $250,000 a month. Let me break that down for you. He got up and he said, yeah, we're trying to grow our business right now. We're trying to figure out what are some things we could adjust. You know, we feel like we feel like we're plateauing. And he says, yeah, right now, you know, our business is doing about $250,000 per month. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, everyone who is sitting in that room, these are no slouches. These are people who have multiple six-figure businesses. People who have seven-figure businesses are in the room. And everybody sort of did a quick double take, okay? And so we realized that, I tell you that, if you got to hanging around that guy and you are with that guy consistently enough, how many of you would realize that over time, you would begin to raise your expectations? When you are around somebody who's doing $250,000 per month, okay? And you are perhaps doing $500,000, a million, or you're only doing, six figures or whatever it might be. What do you realize? Don't you think that over time, being around that person is going to cause you to start expanding your expectations, and that person is going to cause you to stretch and start producing some different results in your life. So one of the ways that you can raise your expectations is to get around people with higher expectations. Do me a favor right now. Let me tell you right now, do me a favor, put #people, #people. I'm telling you right now, part of raising your expectations for this year also means that you are raising the caliber of people that you are surrounding yourself with. Dennis Kimbrough said that if you're the smartest one in your group, you need a new group. If there's been studies that shown that you will make within a few $1,000s, have similar interests, similar values of the 5 people that you spend the most amount of time with and the 5 people that you speak to most often. And if those 5 people scare you, then I'm gonna tell you right now, you might want to consider getting some new friends, okay? You might want to consider deleting some people out of your phone. You might want to consider spending less time with some folks and spending some more time with some other folks. Do you hear me? Okay? Because if you will make within a few $1,000s of your 5 closest friends, then listen, how many of you realize that you may have to go ahead and change who you're around? In other words, you got to get around some people with some higher standards. Get around some people with some higher expectations. I'm going to tell you right now, I was stretched being on that cruise. I came off a good year. Doggone good year. Most people would love to have the year that I had last year. But when I got an environment where people were doing $250,000 a month, trust and believe that caused me to want to raise the bar and raise my expectations of what I want for myself and the impact and the things that I want to be able to do. And so I want you to understand right now that part of you getting to that next level is to make sure that you stretch yourself and you get around people with higher expectations so that you can raise your expectations. All right. So if you're getting value from this, do me a favor. Heart it up. There's a little part where you can put all those little symbols, put a couple of hearts for me, put a couple of thumbs up for me. All those things will make sure that we have more people hear this message, because I believe that there's some people that if they hear this message, it's going to be a game changer for them. If they hear this message, everything shifts for them this year. Do me a favor, put some more hearts, put some more thumbs up, put those things so we can let the Facebook community know that this video is important and we can make sure that some more people see it. So once again, how do we make sure we raise our expectations? One of them is to get around people with higher expectations. Get around people with high expectations. Now, here's the next thing that you got to do. You want to raise your expectations? The other thing is you got to expose yourself to the next level. You got to expose yourself to the next level. Let me tell you right now, I see a friend of mine who is watching this particular live stream. Her name is Maud. Maud is an amazing fitness coach, and I'm going to share something about Maud, and it's going to be part of my third step. Maud, so glad to see you. But let me tell you right now, number 2, here's the thing you got to do. You got to expose yourself to the next level. And so part of the reason why our expectations are here is because we have not exposed ourselves to the next level so that we can increase our expectation. And so I don't know about you, but I feel like a lot of times that in my life, that anything that I accomplish in life, at one point or another, I was first exposed to it. So I can tell you right now, before 6 years ago, where I stepped foot and I was the keynote speaker for a direct sales company, and I got in front of thousands of people, myself and Les Brown, I'm telling you, before that happened, it was like over 15 years before that, when I was at a direct sales event and I was sitting in the audience and I was looking at the people on the stage and I was saying, one day I would like to be the guy on the stage. And what I want you to understand is when I was sitting there, what I didn't realize is I was being exposed to my next level. Being exposed to that environment made me want to raise the bar. It made me want to get more out of life. It put a seed in me that I wanted to pursue. Let me help you to understand something. Till this day, my wife and I, one of the things that we do periodically, we get in the car and we start driving around, and we drive around and we start going to open houses, but not just any open houses. We go to multi-million-dollar homes that are on the ocean, multi-million-dollar homes that are on the intercoastal. I'm talking about custom, beautiful homes that have amazing docks in the back where the ocean is in your backyard. Homes that some of them that we've been in are like 20,000 square feet. Some are 25,000 square feet. We go and visit these condos that are on the ocean, condos that are open floor plan, panoramic windows all around, ocean views all around, and we walk around the room, we talk to the realtors, we ask them questions, we check things out, and many of the things that we take a look at, they're currently outside of our range because these properties are prime real estate that are on the ocean. But you say, well, Andy, why are you guys looking at things that are currently outside of your range? Why? Because we're exposing ourselves to the next level. Why? Is because we're expanding our expectations. We are raising the bar for ourselves. And so what I want you to understand is part of you getting to the next level is you've got to first be exposed to the next level. Ooh, woo! If you get what I'm saying right now, put hashtag exposed, hashtag exposed. I'm telling you right now, whatever it is that you want to do, you got to do it. I don't care if you just do it for a day. I don't care if you just do it for 2 days. And one day, go ahead and bite the bullet and go ahead and book that first class seat just so you can be exposed to it, because one day you're only going to be flying first class. When you want to get that panoramic ocean view, just go ahead. If it's for 1 day or 2 days, go ahead and rent that Airbnb or go rent that hotel room that has that ocean view and just sit in that. Look at the ocean. Take it all in, because one day that will become your reality. Listen, if you want to eventually own that boat, go ahead and rent you a boat for a day. Spend some money and rent the boat for a day. Get out there in that water. Get catered. Talk to the crew. Let them know where you want to go, because one day that is going to be your reality. If you want to eventually go ahead and be on that major stage, go to the event. Sit in the front row. Look at the speakers. Watch them as they pace back and forth. Watch them as they come back. Look how the audience is reacting to them so that you can be exposed to your next level. I'm telling you right now that oftentimes the reason why we cannot accomplish the things that we want to accomplish is because of the fact that we haven't been exposed to the thing that we want. And so the seed is not even there, right? We can't even raise the bar. We can't even raise the expectation because we haven't even seen it. And so a lot of times you can't make it happen until you first see it for yourself. And that's why we've got to expose yourself to the next level. Now, here's the last thing. This is the third way how you raise your expectations. And ooh, woo, woo, you better write this down. You got to assume a new identity. You've got to assume a new identity. So I'm going to tell you a little story right now. I got a friend right now and somebody who's about to come to my Master Storyteller Academy. Her name is Maud. Maud is RN who is now an extraordinary fitness extraordinaire who is competing at a professional level in fitness competitions and also a fitness coach. Now, here's what's interesting. I told you I was just on this cruise. So I'm on this cruise and I meet this guy. This guy is extremely, extremely successful businessman that has had success in multiple business ventures. This guy has created multiple 6-figure and 7-figure businesses. And I want to let you know right now, he created multiple 7-figure businesses, right? And so here's what the crazy thing is. This guy told me a story about how he just literally decided multiple times that he was going to start a new business. He started a new business and was able to build and grow those businesses to 7-figure businesses. He hasn't done it once. He hasn't done it twice. He's done it several times. And then the other thing is, he also told us that he has competed in professional bodybuilding competition. And the first time he made a decision to compete in a professional bodybuilding competition, he got first place. And then so I was looking at him and I said to him, how do you do that? How is it that in multiple arenas you can operate at that level of success? How is it in multiple arenas that you can accomplish that level of success and you can do it over and over again? He said, Andy, here's what the answer is. Here's what the key to success is. He says that at any time, if you assume an identity, you will begin to carry out the actions and the characteristics of the identity that you have assumed. And so when he said that, it's one of those things you comprehend in your mind, but it's one of those things that you need to be able to really fully grasp. And then as he said that, I said, whoa, I got it. I got it. I said, let me show you a picture of my friend. I said, you know, I've got a friend. Her name is Maud. Maud is an RN. And Maud just one day decided that she was going to start competing in professional fitness competitions, in professional female bodybuilding competitions. As a matter of fact, you can see Maud right here on the feed. You'll see her right there on the screen. You can go ahead and connect with Maud. And I said, Maud is this nurse who had a regular physique, was in regular shape, and Maud simply made the decision and she assumed the identity of a world-class fitness expert. She assumed the identity of a world-class bodybuilder. And here's what the key is. This is where you guys got to get. This is where the lesson is. She assumed the identity before. What's going to happen now? Here's what's going to happen. You're going to go ahead and look for Maud. And so you're going to see Maud. Maud is right there on the screen. You're going to go look at Maud. You're going to go look at her pictures and you're going to say, wow, look at her body. But here's where the lesson is. I want you to get this. Maud assumed the identity of a world-class bodybuilder before she stepped foot into the gym. Do you hear me? She assumed the identity first. And now, because she assumed the identity of a world-class fitness expert, now she began to change her eating habits. Now she began to change her workout habits. Now she began to change her regimen. And so now she's like, now mind you, at that time, she's a nurse. At that time, you looked at her body, regular physique. But before the results showed up, she first assumed a new identity. And now that she assumed the new identity, she began to do the things that are reflective of that new identity. So she says, if I'm going to be a world class, and I am a world class bodybuilder, I've got to change what I eat. If I'm going to be a world class bodybuilder, then I've got to change my workout regimen. If I'm going to be a world-class bodybuilder, I've got to hang around other people who are world-class bodybuilders. If I'm going to be a world-class bodybuilder, I've got to start educating myself on the way that the body works, on the way that the body breaks down fat, on the way that the body builds up muscle mass. I've got to learn how the body gets ripped and shred. I've got to learn how the body operates. And here's what the crazy thing is. She assumed the identity first. And then she acted from the place of the new identity. And as a result of that, she produced the result. Most people have it reversed. They want the result. And they say that I will assume the identity after I produce the result. And so what happens is they say, I want to become the millionaire. And so once I become a millionaire, I will assume the identity of a millionaire. But they don't understand that even if right now they're only making $50,000, they can begin to assume the identity of a millionaire and start doing the things that a millionaire does. And over time, they will become a millionaire. And so the person says, wait a second, I want to become in phenomenal shape. And they say, once I lose the weight, once I look good, then I will assume the identity of someone in great shape. I'm telling you that even if you are obese, even if you're overweight, you need to assume the identity first of someone who is completely fit. Then you act from the place of that new identity. You say, well, now that I am this person who's going to be fit, I clearly need to change the way that I eat. I need to work out. I need to do some things differently. I'm telling you, that is the ultimate key to completely transforming your life in spite of your current circumstances, in spite of what you see in the mirror, in spite of what you see in your bank account. You assume the identity first, and then you act from that place of assuming the identity. Anybody who's become a world-class athlete was a world-class athlete in their mind first. They assumed the identity first, and they acted from that place, and then they produce the results. The person who becomes the millionaire assumes the identity first of the millionaire. They act now from that new identity, and then they produce the results. Anybody that you know that is an extraordinary speaker, extraordinary communicator first assume the identity first of that extraordinary speaker, the extraordinary speaker, the extraordinary communicator, the extraordinary coach, and then they acted from that place, and then they produced the results. And so listen, you have it backwards if you think that you got to produce the results and then you can assume the identity. No, you assume the identity first and you act from that place, and then you will begin to produce the results. Woo, woo. If you even got a fraction of what I broke down, this is going to be a game changer for you. Your life is going to shift. If you got what I just put out, number one, hit the share button, hit the share button, hit the share button. Go ahead and throw some hearts in there, throw some thumbs up for me, do the whole nine. But let me tell you right now, if you got a fraction of what I just shared with you, everything changes. Everything changes. If you got just a piece of what I said, I want you in the comment section, put, Andy, I got this, I got this, I got this, I got this. If you understand that the true change, the one thing that is going to determine your entire year, the one thing that is going to determine your entire year this year is going to be based off of what your expectations are. And when you make the decision that you've got some different expectations, it is going to provide evidence in your life based off of the preparation that you're making. When you're expecting someone to come over to your house, you begin to make preparation. If you're expecting to make $1 million this year, I'm expecting you to make some preparation for that. If you're expecting to be in a happy, fulfilling relationship this year, I'm expecting you to make some preparation for that. When my wife and I were expecting our daughter, we made preparation. Your preparation will reveal what you are expecting in your life. I hope you're getting this. Your environment is a clear sign of what you're expecting in your life. And so if you want more, you must raise your expectations out of what you want. And if you want to raise your expectations, there are 3 steps, 3 things you got to do. Number one, you got to get around people with higher expectations than you, people with higher standards, people who are operating at a higher level. If you're operating at a 5 and you surround yourself with people who are operating at a 10, you can't help but at least get to a 7 or an 8 just by being around those people consistently, because just association and being around those people, they're going to force you to raise your expectations and begin to produce different results in your life. All right. So you got to get around other people. The other thing is you got to expose yourself to the next level. Stop cheating yourself on different opportunities. Even if you can only do it once, listen, you got to go ahead and at least expose yourself to the next level. Book that first class ticket at least once. Go ahead and stay at that oceanfront hotel room at least once so you can be exposed. Sit in the VIP tickets at least once. Do it so that you can be exposed to that thing that you want to do. Upgrade to the suite at least once so you can be exposed to the next level. Get in your car. Go look at some open houses at things that are complete. Some people are like, well, I don't want to look at that because it's just outside of my price range. Well, listen. If you can't see it, you're not even exposed to it, how are you going to even be able to aspire to it? You get me on that? So you got to expose yourself to the next level. And then the last thing is you've got to assume the identity before you produce the results. Ooh, woo! I don't know if you got that. You have to assume the identity first, then act from that place of the new identity, and then ultimately you will begin to produce the results. And so, yes, Maud said she's got this. Keno says, I got this. Eric says, I got this. Brady said, I got this. Andrew said, I shared it. I shared it. Listen, if this message was for you, because I'm telling you, this is a game changer. If you just get these principles that I'm breaking down for you, this is a game changer for you. If this message was for you, do me a favor right now, just in the comment section, just do this for me. Put, Andy, this was for me. Like, I don't care if you were here for the entire message, whether you got 5 minutes of the message, but if you got something that was specifically for you, go ahead right now in the comment section, put, Andy, this was for me. And that's your way of letting me know that this message was for you. I'm telling you right now, you're going to experience some changes this year. And the only way it's going to happen is not through wishful thinking. It's not through some kind of New Year's resolution. It's not through hoping and wishing. It is going to happen because you've raised your expectations. And evidence of raising your expectation is that you ultimately begin to prepare for your next level, and you begin to prepare for the things that you're expecting to happen in your life. If you get that, everything changes. Everything changes. Everything changes. All right? So do me a favor, of course, go ahead and make sure you share this message. You share this message. You share this message. You share this message. And let me go ahead and share this real quickly. I'm super excited. I got a couple of things coming up. For those of you in the South Florida area, I've got a free event coming up. It is going to happen at the end of this month. And if you would like to register to join me in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, I'm going to go ahead and put the site. It is called cashinonyourstory.com. Cashinonyourstory.com. So if you go to cashinonyourstory.com, you'll be able to register for my free event that's happening in Fort Lauderdale, Florida at the end of this month. So if you'd like to join me, you can go to Cash In on Your Story. You want to go ahead and make sure that you register. We have very limited seats. I'm going to be doing 2 free events on one day. I'm going to be doing one event from 12 to 2 o'clock and then another event from 6:30 to 8:30. You'll see the exact date. You'll see the venue. You'll see the location once you head over to Cash In on Your Story. If those dates don't work for you and you're not even in South Florida, you can go ahead and fill out the information anyway, and we'll make sure that we keep you informed the next time that I'm doing one of the events, and possibly if I'm doing one of these free events in your hometown or in your home state or in your home city. So once again, you're going to go to cashinonyourstory.com, cashinonyourstory.com. And also, before you go ahead and we wind this up, let me go ahead and give you a free gift, and let me tell you exactly what you're going to do. I got a free gift for you, and all you're going to do is you're going to text the word "show up" to 954-278-3701, and I'm going to put that on the screen for you. You're going to text the word "show up." And if you've already done this, you know, but if you've never done this before, you want to do this right away. I've got a free video training in which I share with you how you can take your personal story and leverage it to be able to connect with people, push past the objections that they have, and inspire them to take action. And so if you're interested in how to use your personal stories to connect with people, to move people to action, to be able to up-level your game, you're going to text the word "show up," no space in between. Your iPhone tends to try to put a space in between. Hit the backspace so that there's no space in between. You're going to text the word "show up" to 954-278-3701. Now, once you do that, you're going to be prompted to do a couple more things. You're just going to have to put in your name and your email address. And once you do that, you're going to receive an email with a link to this free video training. And you're also going to get a text message with a link to the free video training. And that's my gift to you. So once again, if you're in the South Florida area, you want to join me at the end of the month for the free event, you're going to go to Cash In on Your Story, cashinonyourstory.com. Go ahead and fill out that application and register so you can come out to that free training. It's going to be phenomenal. It's going to be a game changer. I'm going to be sharing with you exactly how you can take your personal stories and turn your stories into revenue, and how I've been able to leverage stories to be able to make multiple 6 figures consistently with different stories. And so we want to make sure that you're able to do that. And then not only that, but of course, if you want to take advantage of this free gift, you're going to text the word "show up" to 954-278-3701. Once again, that's "show up," all one word, no space in between, to 954-278-3701. Listen, I hope you enjoyed this message as much as I did. And you know what? Nowadays, we got to boost these messages up. We got to give them a little more love. We got to show Facebook that we believe this message is important. So do me a favor. You see the little heart symbol. You see the thumbs up symbol. Put a couple more hearts. Put a couple of more thumbs up. That's our way to let Facebook know that you deem that this message is important. So we make sure as many people as possible see the replay and are able to tune in on this message. Listen, I want to thank all of you for tuning in and for joining me for this message. I hope you got tremendous value. And if you did, pay it forward. Go ahead and hit the share button and share this message with one of your friends, family members, or somebody out there in the social media world that is going to tune into this message and get the same value that you are able to receive. So I say pay it forward. Go ahead and hit the share button. I want to thank all of you for tuning in. You can find me the same time, same place next week, right here on Facebook Live, on YouTube, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, Thursday, and I'll see you again. Listen, everybody, I want to thank you for joining me. Have a fantastic evening, and don't forget that the major difference in this year, the one thing that's going to determine your entire year is going to be based entirely on what your expectations are for this year. And so you've got to make sure that you raise your expectations. And once again, the 3 ways you're going to raise your expectations is get around people with higher standards. Get around people that are operating at a higher level. Get around people with higher expectations. I'm telling you, my wife and I were on that cruise. Gentleman pops up and says, "Oh, we're trying to grow my business. And yeah, I'm only doing about $250,000 per month." All of our heads were on a swivel. You better believe many of us raised our expectations that moment, just being in the same room with that gentleman. So getting around the right people will cause you to raise your expectations. The other thing is you got to expose yourself to the next level. Oftentimes, you will not make it to another level until you've first been exposed to it. Everything that you accomplish in your life, that's phenomenal. You would have first been exposed to it in one way or another. Exposure is going to determine how far you go in your life. Expose yourself to the next level. Then the last thing is, remember, you've got to assume the new identity first. Act from that place, and then you produce the results. The rest of the world has it backwards. They want to produce the results, and then they'll assume the identity. There's some people that say, "Oh, I will give away more money once I make more money." That's a complete lie. If you don't give money away right now, when you make more money, you won't be giving it away then. Listen, some of them say, "Well, if and when I do that, when I lose the weight, then I'll start changing my eating habits." When I do this, you have it all backwards. You've got to assume the identity first, and then you act from the place of the new identity. And through the actions of acting from that place, then you will produce the results. Then you will produce the outcome. Assume the identity first, act from that place, and then you will produce the results. Listen, I hope this helped you as much as it helped me, just sharing this message with all of you. I thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to pay it forward. Don't forget to share this message. I'm going to say bye to a couple of you. Tanya, thank you for tuning in. Good to see you. Mon, thank you for tuning in. Eric, thank you for tuning in. Tanya, thank you for tuning in. Derek, thank you for tuning in. Lisa, thank you for tuning in. Sabrina, thank you for tuning in. Yes, yes. Yes. Darren, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate all of you for tuning in. Thank you so much. Pay it forward. Share the message. I will see you soon. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. God bless you. I'll talk to you soon.